Well, Johannesburg multi-party coalition is welcoming a court ruling to stop a planned council sitting. The High Court in Johannesburg ruled the sitting, called by Chair of Chairs, that's Colleen Makhubele, was invalid. It also found it was illegal for Makhubele to purport to be the acting speaker. Smaller parties were planning to table a vote of no confidence in Mayor Makhubele, and they further accuse her of not doing her job. But DA-aligned parties such as Action SA say there are efforts to capture the city. The coalition says the city of Johannesburg will elect a new speaker later on this month, and this follows a successful vote of no confidence in former Speaker Vasco da Gama. Well, Colleen Makhubele is with us in studio this morning and joins us for some reaction. Colleen, thank you for your time and good morning to you. Your reaction to the court's ruling?
Good morning to me and good morning to the viewers as well. In fact, we are quite glad about the ruling because there's been a grey area in the law in the city of Joburg from the legislature and the executive arm of the city on whether I'm the acting speaker or not. So the court gave clarity yesterday and we welcome that. Of course, I'm from a party as well that believes in the constitution of the land. So we abide by that ruling. What is left now is for the acting speaker to call the meeting, because we want council to speak. That was really the objective, to say, let us call the meeting, and then also let me not be found in derelict of my duty, if indeed it was my duty to call the meeting. Now that that's clear, we are looking to the acting city manager to call the meeting as soon as possible, because we do need to elect a speaker, and we do need to deal with other council business, including the vote of no confidence for the mayor.
Yeah.
That is where the meat of the issue is.
Why the vote no confidence for Mayor Makhubele?
Look, there's been several issues, as you mentioned earlier, service delivery issues. There have been purging of black people and black professionals. There have been really a neglect of the far-flung areas and regions that are, in the informal settlements and townships. Soweto was neglected. For the first time, she went to address Soweto last week, Saturday, because of this vote of no confidence that is coming. There's SMMEs, black SMMEs that have been purged, that have been stifled, no business for them. Truly, there is not a real program that is advancing the city at this stage, except for just being corruption cops, and the coalition is not holding because she has failed to really pull together the coalition as well.
In your view, is Mayor Makhubele independent? Is she able to think independently, conduct her duties as mayor independently, or do you think there's an influence there from the DA which pushes almost her work as mayor?
Indeed, and I've said that before, she is not independent, and that's one of the reasons that we are frustrated with her, because she's influenced by DA, she's influenced by instructions from Cape Town. It's almost as if this city is run from Cape Town. And we truly believe that this vote of no confidence, she'll look back 3-4 years from now when she's out of the DA, thank us for standing up for her as well, because it's frustrating, I think, for a black woman in that position when she's supposed to be shining, implementing, and we see her, turning the city around, but instead she's stifled. She can't really think on her own. She's told what to do. It's almost like she's a front of somebody in Cape Town who's telling her what to do.
Yeah, and also just speaking about coalitions, what's been your frustration overall with this coalition agreement and government that you also find yourself in a scope?
The frustration is that the DA wants to lead this coalition. There's white supremacy. They want to instruct everybody what to do. Hence, you hear them saying they didn't follow the instruction to vote. We are not instructed. We are not voting cows. We are elected constitutionally as councillors. And a coalition that does not have a common vision, but really a desperate interdependence for economic gain, cannot stand, because there's not a common value for that. We're almost in a forced cooperation by instructions, and it shouldn't be so. As the city of Joburg, we've got a council, that JC management committee that's supposed to run the city of Joburg, that was supposed to be the all parties from all coalition, but that is rendered ineffective by instructions that are coming from national, from Cape Town, to tell us what to do. That white supremacy is the root cause. All these motions and deflecting to Colleen, to this and that, it's just really symptoms, the core of it. And even if you listen to Action SA, they will tell you, DA has taken all the key positions. You can't hold them accountable. They have the mayor, they have the speaker, they have the whip. It can't be like that. The power is not balanced. We're not sharing power. We're not sharing decision making. And there's a lot of frustration, especially for us small parties who are told when we raise our concerns and our dissent on issues, it's not important. You know, we voted against the coalition before. It was not important. But because this particular vote, the 3-4 hands were important, that's why it's making noise. And they finally realized that they didn't win power. We all have to cooperate, you know, in that coalition, rule and govern together in order to move the city forward.
And just before I let you go then, just for clarity's sake, the council sitting that you're saying is very important to have. What should be prioritized in terms of the agenda during that sitting?
Truly, it is the election of the speaker, because council must run. What you see now, that the acting city manager should have, by law, within 14 days, if he believed he was the one to call the meeting, he should have called the meeting. But because there's nobody who's holding him accountable, that separation of powers collapsed during the DA administration. That's why he's running amok, running to courts, you know, against the legislative arm of the city. And that's where I got my powers to actually act as a speaker as well. So what is important is that we need a speaker that is able to hold accountable the executive and run legislature separate from executive, so that we're able to, they should be accounting now why the meeting has not been called. That should be the question. Who is influencing the city manager not to call the meeting? Because DA wants to achieve their political agenda to fire councillors. So chief to that is to appoint a real speaker for the city, and then of course deal with other business of the day. The motion will come as well. We want to deal with it, and there could be other business that comes in that is important for the running of the city and for service delivery.
Is a vote of no confidence against Mayor Mpopala one of them?
Yes, it is one of them.
All right. Well, Colleen, thank you so much for speaking to us. Colleen Makhubele joining us this morning, giving some clarity in terms of what should be on top of the agenda of the sitting, but also giving us some reaction on the court ruling.